We need to handle some crud. Welcome back to Getting to Green. My name is Kevin, and yeah, we gotta handle some crud, right? So, last episode we actually got it was a while ago, but we handled some of the front end stuff, right? We had pretty much most of it kind of hammered out. There are going to be some changes we do to the design, but we're getting an idea of what we want. And yeah, let's see what it is we want, right? Let's take a look. So we have our project open. We have the server running. So if we do yarn and dev, we'll do this. We got that, and we could go here, bring this over. And we go to todo.test. Now, yeah, we have, this is where we kind of left off. We have our titles, and you can turn them on and off. And you can edit these, right? You can make them anything you want. That's very similar to what I had. But you unclick, and it's saved. But we actually didn't do any real saving, because if I reload this page, it goes back to the way it was. So what I would like to add to this front end is a little button down here, just to add a brand new task or to-do or whatever we're calling this. I guess we'll stick with to-do. Add a brand new to-do, and it should come right up here to the top, but I don't want to have to know what the name is, right? We want to just click that, get a new one up here. Maybe it'll default to new task. And then we can update the title. So I think the first place I'd like to start is within the back end and doing some of our feature tests. And if you remember, a long time ago when we started this whole project, we actually had some tests set up for this. So if we jump back to our project and we go to our to-do test, we have a bunch of stuff here we could see, right? We have a to-do could be created, 2 of them could be created, and yada, yada, yada. So we have a ton of things here. We have some validation and everything. So this is a pretty good start. And if we run this whole test, click here, and we run it. Yeah, pretty much everything's working. There's some things that are a little different, but I think that's something down here that we don't need. Title is, yeah. So that was just a little typo. We all 8 of our tests are running. There's 21 assertions going on. So this is working for us. But if we look at our test, it doesn't really follow what I just said I want to do. I don't want to, send in a title anymore. I want to just create the to-do, and then we're going to be responsible to update it later on. So let's remove the title here. So this is what we want. And instead of my first to-do, we should get new to do. Maybe a period, maybe not. No period. Save this. We'll run this test, and we're going to get a failure because that's not what happens, right? There's a validation error. The title is required. So the first thing we need to do is go to our to-do request, and we're going to remove this. We don't want it to be required anymore. We just do that, we save, and now we're going to get an SQL exception because we can't have a not null column. So back to our to-do controller, and when we store this, we're expecting a title, but we're not going to allow the title to come in anymore. We're just going to say new to-do. Save, and we run our test, and we have a passing test. So that's good. Go back here. We can see we have a bunch of stuff. We don't want this anymore. Oops, I don't know how I did that. Remove all this. And again, yeah, remove that. So this should read, actually this test doesn't do anything for us anymore. Let's just get rid of that one. You could create one, you could create multiple. So this one, to do can be created. Yeah, this is a factory, we can have that. This should actually still run, and it does, so that's good. Now, this is for our validation, but we're not going to do it through when we create the to-do anymore. We want that to be more of an update. So why don't we go to our web routes, and we have some things here, but we don't really have an update one. So route patch. We'll say to do, and then we'll give it the to do, right? We'll give it the ID, but we're going to name it to do right now. I'm going to change this one too, but I'll show you why I'm choosing to go this route. We're going to do to do controller, to do's controller, sorry, class, and this is just going to be update, just a straight update, easy enough. And we're going to name this to do dot update, easy enough. So we'll save this. We'll come back to our test, and we're not doing a patch anymore. We're going to do a post. We'll do a patch, and the route. Got cotton mouth. To do update, and what we're going to need is we're going to need an actual to do also. So let's create one. To do factory. And we'll just create one, and we'll just create. Doesn't matter what the name is. We don't care about that really. We just care that we're able to update. But just to prove that we are updating, why don't we give it a name? So the title, we can make that new to do, because that's what we're expecting a brand new to do to come in as, while the factories would actually create a random string for us. So now if we run this, we should hit some failures, a whole bunch of them. All of them are erroring. And the error that we're actually getting is, there's no route. There's no stuff going on here. Oh, we didn't actually give it to do the ID here. So we're going to give it, pass it 1. So that's going to be the ID for our to do. Run this again, and now we get failures, actual failures, because we get errors before because we were expecting a to do ID, and we didn't pass it. So now we're saying that we're getting a 200. So that's interesting. Shouldn't be getting a 200. Why are we getting a 200? I don't know. Let's go to our controllers. We don't have an update. Oh, we do have an update. So we have this, and we're actually just completing. But if we go to our here, we don't have, we're not using that anywhere. We have a complete, and so this doesn't really do anything for us. So let's do this. Let's get rid of this, and we'll do some route model binding. So we actually don't need this anymore, and we could say the to do, and we'll do the title equals request title. And here we go. So now we're getting some failures here. So again, we're getting a 200, which we don't want. Let's do this. First, we want a message. We'll say success, just for now. And this will be a 201. This is our status here. So we get okay, 1 passed, and we got 2 passed, and we have 3 failures. And one of those failures is a not null request going there. So this goes back to what we had required and everything. So if we pull this back in, we get some fixed. Did that fix any of those? No. Let's see. 302, you can validate it to do with data. The title is required. That should have gone through here. So let's die dump here, see if we're hitting this endpoint. Doesn't seem that we are. All right, we're running a patch. You know what it is? We're just giving it a regular request. We're not actually doing the to-do request. To-do request. Save that. We'll get that here, meaning that's this. So there's all of our tests passing, just like that. That's pretty cool. But if we come here and we run this whole, run this whole file, Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong one. We're going to see we get some errors. We get one error. And the title is required. And that's hitting right here. And we don't want that. So there's something wrong with here. So what we actually want is we're going to create a rules here. This is just going to be an empty array. And we want to return the rules. That was correct. Rules, right? But we want to update this as per the type of rule that we're doing, right? So, I mean, the type of request that we're passing in. So, if this method equals patch, then we want to append to those rules. So we could do array push and give it the array, which is the rules, and then pass it here, which would be title. Oops. And we want required min 3 and max 100. And if we have this, we should actually, let's die dump what the rules look like now. And we have an empty thing still because that's running the very first guy. So that's good. We don't want any rules for that. Jump down here to this is where we're actually patching. And we have an array of array. And then that has all of our tasks in it, all of our rules. So we actually just want the very first one of that. So we'll just pass it a 0. And there we go. We have an array with the title. So this works for us. So just have to pass that in. Save that. Everything's running. Go back to our to-do test. Run the whole thing for us. I'm getting an error still. Undefined key array 0. So yeah, that makes sense because let's see. Let's see. How would we handle this? Let's just try going to a collection here. Collect, and instead of that, we'll do rules push, and that's that. And then we could do to array, and then we can have that 0 there. And let's see what happens now. We're still getting an error, and that should be, yeah, undefined key 0. That. There we go. Rules to array. There we go. So yeah, so now we have our collection and we're just pushing in that title and stuff, which is pretty cool. We can actually break this out onto a new line if we wanted to. That way when we have other things later on, but this is fine for us. So now we have that. So why don't we jump back to our front end? We could go to we'll do home page, right? And here we have our everything, all of our to-dos are being listed. We need a button, right? EP.10, and we want this to be a type equal to a button. And the reason we do this is because buttons actually are automatically set as a submit. And if we hit submit on something, the page reloads, and we don't want that. And we're going to do something here, but I want to go ahead and grab an SVG from Heroicons. Let's do plus. Not plush, plus. Copy JSX, and here, enter this, and put that in, have it auto format for us. And there's our button. And we should add some classes to this. And we'll have a width of 8 and a height of 8. and we're going to have it fixed, and we're going to have it to the bottom 4 and to the right 4, and we'll have the background slate 300, text slate 800. And we'll give it a shadow, and we'll have it rounded. So let's save that. We should be running everything. Yeah. So we could run back to here, go to Laravel, refresh. Oh, there it is down there. Hey now. There we go. So that's our little button. So that currently doesn't do anything, but it's nice and it's fixed down at the bottom. Looks pretty good. Actually, I'm going to bring this down to maybe 100. And that should hot reload. Yeah, there we go. That is looking pretty good, I think. So now, when we click this, we want something to happen. So why don't we run to, do we have tests for pages? We do. We have a home page one. Perfect. So we are mocking X. Give me a minute. All right, it's a little better. All right, as I was trying to say is we have Axios already mocked out for us. So what we need is, so we have, it can fetch all the to-dos. Maybe what we want is it can create a new to-do. Right, this is going to be async. And here, so const wrapper, we'll say, well, we don't need a const. We'll say wrapper dot find, and we're going to give this a string here and wrap it in brackets. We want a data test ID equals to create to do BTN, right? So actually, I like having these in snake case. So create to do button, and we're going to trigger a click on this event, and we're going to expect Axios.post to be called one time. And pretty much that means that it should send out that post and create something for us. So let's go up here. We have our Axios get is mocked. So let's do axios.post.mock resolved value. And we're just going to say it's going to return a message of success. Okay, so this should now, let's go to run that. We'll create a new bash, yarn test spec. Have this run, give this a second. All right, we have a failure, which, yeah, we expect that to happen. So we're looking for a button that doesn't even exist. So let's just copy this. We'll go back to our home page. We have our button, but we never gave it a data. So do that, data test ID. And, oops, I got a little ahead of myself there. I started doing something else. So now it's saying, yeah, we got that button. We triggered an event, but we actually never got called for this, right? So what we need to do is when this is clicked, so at click, we need to create our to-do, right? So I actually want to do this over on our store. So to-do store. So we could see we have some things. We have an update status, we have a fetch, we have all this stuff, right? So the fetch, let's do right here. we're going to say const create equals an async function. And what we want to do is axios.post, and we were going to do, actually we'll do this, to a template string to do, and then we have our to-do ID, right? So this will be a to-do ID, and we could say just ID. And we'll say, well, oh no, create. We don't need an ID for this. What am I doing? Post an ID, and that's it. And we're going to say this is a const, actually we'll just return this. Await that, right? So we're going to await this, and we're just going to return whatever that is. And we need to take this, pull this down into here, and there we go. And now in the home page, we could say to do store.create. Now if we save this, let's see what happens in our front end. Refresh it. I want to inspect, and let's go to network. See what happens. Click that, and we have a 201. We create a new title. This is everything that we created. So that's pretty cool. That means we actually did it. And look at that, we have a new to-do right down here. Fantastic. We have a couple here because I was experimenting earlier. Don't worry about those. But we have our new to-do. But it goes to the very bottom. I think a new to-do should actually be up at the top. So actually, let's switch back over to our to-do test. And when reviewing this, I want to have the view a certain way, right? So I'm going to do this. I have this little thing here, this little snippet, and this kind of scaffolds a test for me where we have the creating, and I create all these little like areas for this. So here I'm going to restructure some of this. We don't really need the valid params. This is a nice little helper that I have. So when you're creating stuff, and we're going to see this in the future, but when you're creating these certain elements, it's nice to have everything kind of laid out here. That way when you're creating something, you don't have to put in miscellaneous information that isn't really partial or important to the test itself. So if we had a lot of fields that we had within a form, we don't have to put that in every single test. We could just say, all right, we have valid params, pass those in, and then overwrite the ones that we actually are testing and doing stuff with. So we'll get rid of that because we don't need it. All right, so all of this still runs. We'll just do a little test like that. And yep, everything's working as we expected it to. But now in the viewing, I want to do a test here. Test it gets to's in DESC order. So we say to do factory, let's create 3, and we'll just create. And I don't care what they are, but when I go to, we'll say response, we'll say get JSON, we'll say this get JSON, we'll say to-dos, and not that, it's this, and then we say this assert equals, we'll say we want the ID of 3 to be the first one, so we need also this, we need to-dos equals JSON decode response, and we want, well, we'll see what that is in a second. So to-dos ID, right? So it's getting that. Well, let's see what we get from this. So die dump response. And we're getting an error. Call to undefined to do factor, factory. It's weird when you're watching these videos, you see all the mistakes somebody makes. When you're actually recording these, yeah, you miss so many things. It's a very weird thing that happens. So we're getting a bunch of our stuff, which is cool, but we want the content, right? I think we want get JSON and then content. I think it's get content. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, and then we JSON decode that. Oh, I didn't do that. I said diet to-dos. I wanted to see what that looked like. And that is correct. Let's give it just 0. No. As array. Let's look at that again. To-dos. Get content. Let's do to-dos. That's probably not going to work. We want here to-dos. Perfect. So now we have all of our arrays. And yeah, perfect. So we want the very first one to be ID of 3. We want 2 and 1. And then we want 1 and 2. Run this again. And this should fail for us because we're expecting that 1 matches expected 3. So go to our to-do controller, and we're just grabbing all of these. But we want to order by DESC, and then we want to just run a get method on that. Run again. Oh. And let's see. To-dos. Saying that we don't have that to-dos. So let's run back to our test. Maybe it doesn't have this anymore. Let's just die dump the response. Okay, we're getting some interesting stuff here. Get. What about these? Get. Thought that's what that was. Let's add some space here. Order by DESC. Get should work. It's just doing some stuff here. Oh, yeah, gotta pass it something here. That's probably what we're doing wrong. And there's our to-dos. Go back here. Get this, and then our to-dos. There we go. Sorry about that. That was, yeah, got to pass in what you want to order it by. We're going to just do ID for now and save this. Now if we go back to our page here, refresh this. Our new to-dos are at the top. We create a new one. And if we refresh, we get the new one right on the top. So I want to see this without having to redo the entire thing. So why don't we go back to our to-do store. And when we're creating this, actually maybe the home page, maybe the store itself. Let's see, we got some tests here. Describe actions. Let's do, yeah, we got some more. It can create a new to-do and prepend to the list. Okay, so this is a different test. This is for the things here. So we're actually going to do Axios post, and we'll just do this one. We actually want some things here. So When we post, we're going to get back a title. That's going to be new post. And we're going to get back updated at, I don't know if this actually matters. Created at all that stuff. It might. Actually, it might. Let's go to do itself, to do view. This is expecting an ID is important. So ID, give it 1. We'll give it, I don't know, 3. I guess 10. Say the title. We have a to do. We need is important would be false. Is important, false. Say title and status. Status. We just need status. New. Okay. So that's going to be what we resolve. So when we do this, we say store.create. There's nothing that we need for that. Actually, to do store create. Yeah, we don't have anything. We don't need an ID. So we post to it, and we say create. So we say, let's do store create. Then we expect store.todos length to be 1, and we expect store.todos, and we'll grab the first one, dot title to be new to do. So let's take these, bring them up here. Let's make this 2, and this one will be 1, and the first one, say first to do. Okay. We actually have some to-dos. All right. We just need title and stuff, so I don't care about this. Yeah, say 3. There's where our ID comes from, right? 1, 2, 3. First to do, second to do, new to do. Come down here, new to do. The first one should be 2. This should be 3. Let's run this. Oops, that's the wrong script. Yeah. Go to this one. Yep, we have a fail. Expect store is not defined. Bring this out. Do it before each. We'll say store equals use to do store. And above this, describe above all of this, we'll say const store. Nope, let store. All right. Save it now. Let's see what we get. Still failing. Store's not the what? Still. Maybe it didn't run again. Ah, there we go. Store to-dos length. So good. So we're getting somewhere. So we have store and we have to-dos. So let's see. To-do store. That should be, yeah, maybe it's value. To-dos dot value. Okay, maybe it's, yeah, it should be to-dos. Let's just log what this is. Log store dot to-dos. It's getting an empty array. So that's interesting. I thought we had somewhere. Oh, this is the expected response. Okay. We could do await store.fetch. We'll get all of those. We know that that works because we have a test above it. So this should just like help figure out what all of that is. Let's see. To-dos.length 0. Let's log again. Log store.todos. There's our to-dos. We do have a length of 2. Yeah, expected 3, but we have 2. So here's this. Perfect. So we're actually getting somewhere now. So this is just kind of instantiating the store for us. We could probably write a better helper method down below, but this works for now. Usually we could refactor when things become, as you constantly add more things, or you're doing something that's repetitive. You don't want to have, you know, store.fetch everywhere and then maybe something else. You know, if you're instantiating something and you have a lot of, you know, prep work, you want that to be handled in one spot. So right now, this is working for us. It's kind of setting up the store. And we know that the Axios is already kind of set up to do some stuff. So that's the expected response. There it is. So now we just have to actually take this. So we save that, go up here, and in our create, fetch create. So let's make a const of response. That equals this await. We're going to say, once we get that response, we're going to push all that stuff. So todos.value.unshift, because we want it in the front, and response. Right? I keep running this task. It's not what I mean to do. Unshift. Todos value unshift. Response is not defined. It's because I don't know how to spell response. Well, they're both. The other one was actually the right way to spell it. Spelled it wrong the first time. Run down here, and the length, they expect it to be 3. It's still not working. So let's see what happens. Return. Yeah. Let's do. It's unshift, right? So log todos.value. Save that. Run down here. And we have a message of success when we create that. So that's not what we want. Let's go to our create. Let's go to our to-do and say controller. And yeah, we don't actually want to, let me do this, return a to-do. Oh, yes, we do. What am I doing? Doing something wrong here. To-do, store, we're posting. Where am I? Create, await Axios, post, to-do. Let's go to our web. Post, to-do, store. So that should be right. We're returning the to-do. There should be a return response, JSON, and to-do. Really should be that. Save it. And getting message of success. It's the only spot that we have. So actually update. And update really isn't where I want to go. To do store. And to do store spec. Await fetch, yeah. Store's length, good. Store.create. Go here, create. Post to do. Let's log response. Message success. Let me do something. After this, we're going to do vi.reset all mocks. And in our home page spec, we're going to go up here. And that's already doing that. Getting this message success. To do store.spec.ts. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now it's going to the right thing. It's saying that the length is wrong, but we could see here that our new one is right there. It's pushed it. So let's get rid of this and that. Let's see. So we fetch, get all that set up, create. Oh, you know what? Await. Save that, and now the length should be, yeah, there we go. Perfect. So we got the length of 3. Now we're just trying to grab the first one and the title. By the way, when I'm down here, I'm just clicking A to run everything again. Usually they have some things down here to tell you, but you can press A and it reruns all your tests. That's just a little helpful hint. That's within vtest. So I forgot to await when the store creates. So now we have a 3, but I want the first one to be new to do. So going back here, create, we don't want push, we want unshift. Save, and now we get all passing. So that's perfect, that's what we want. So now when we run into our page here, we can refresh. We have don't have it running apparently. Yarn dev. And come back here. Now we have new to do, new to do, new to do. Save it, and it worked, but it didn't save it the way we thought. Let's see what happened. So in our to-dos, here's our new object. So we're getting data back, right? And you can see here, this is what we want, and within our to-do data, this is actually what we want. So the entire thing is going in. So if we go back to our store, we don't want response data. We want response data. So here, .data. And we probably want data.todo. So let's see what happens here. Refresh that. There, and then go back into here. We can see again. Yeah. Let's try one more time. Say here, to do data, do it and then to do. Save and refresh. New, got it. So it's hard to tell. Maybe we could jump into here. Let's go to create a new one. We'll do PHP Artisan Tinker, and we'll say what? We'll say to-dos. How can you do that? To do truncate. And that should have been it. We run back to here, we refresh, have no to-dos, create a brand new to-do, there's our new to-do. We refresh, it's still there. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's easy enough. We created it, and in the next one we'll do the updates. I didn't want this to run over as far as it did, but let's put the other one on hold. We'll say we can update the title in the next video, and then maybe we'll handle some deletes also, because doing it through here isn't what I want to do. And we'll also probably handle these, you know, if that works, yeah. So we'll have that working as well. And then the final thing, nothing. There's no final thing. No. All right, so that is the to-do. Pretty much everything that we wanted to do here is just, you know, this took a little bit more time than I was hoping for, but we were able to create a new to-do. We push it to the front. We updated all of our tests. We have a spot that we like. So in the next video, what we'll do is we'll handle the actual update of the title so we can create that and everything, and probably also something with the deletes, because I don't want to have to go through, you know, Tinker to do that. I want to be able to do it through the front end. Maybe some dots on the side, maybe some icon over here, but we'll figure that out and we'll have that. All right, guys, so if you liked that video, please leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll catch you in the next one. And if you have any questions, or there's something that you want to point out or you think would be helpful to somebody else, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know that you're liking the series. Let me know what, you know, your thoughts are so far. Just some kind of feedback from you guys would be hugely appreciated. My brain does not work today. But that's it for today. Again, tune in next time and we'll handle the updates. All right? Cheers.